Hey, this is Kip Winger, and you're watching Sonic Perspectives.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another interview of Sonic Perspectives. I'm Rodrigo, and my guest today is the multi-talented singer, songwriter, and bass player of Winger, Mr. Kip Winger. Kip, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. How you doing?
So far, so good. Well, we have this awesome album to listen to, Seven, the upcoming Winger album. It comes out 9 years after the previous one, Better Days Coming. I mean, what took you guys so long?
Man, just everybody's been doing other stuff. Reb's been in Whitesnake for a long time. I've been writing my classical music, and
Yeah.
it's just been, it would have been out earlier had the pandemic not hit, but
Mm.
really just all the stars aligned, and we, were able to come together and do it. We started at the end of 19, man.
Wow.
But, um, the pandemic just kicked everyone's ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, uh, you know, it was good in a way because I was able to really get the album exactly the way I wanted. Every single original member's playing on every single track.
Mm.
So it's probably the most pure Winger album to date. You know, the recipe of it has all the Winger elements more than any other album.
Yeah, and well, I really like the cover, and it seems to be a phoenix rising. And also, you brought back the original logo, right? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole thing. The number seven has a lot of
Meaning.
metaphysical connotations, and it's really just a full circle back to the beginning. And so I kind of drew upon the kind of inspiration of the first album with the musical inspirations of the subsequent albums, but I really wanted the initial spark of the first album to kind of shine through on this, and the fact that Paul Taylor's back playing on the albums and stuff. So it felt appropriate to go back to that and do a full circle.
Yeah, and you're probably the only hard rock band on the planet with all original members. I know you guys took a break in the '90s, but still, you don't find bands that stick together like that. What is your secret?
We're friends. We're just really good friends. I mean, we no one ever got in any fights. We just have a great time together, and it's a very funny hang. My only problem is time. I don't have enough time to do all the other things I want to do. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, the point is, we enjoy playing together. We're not doing it just for the money or anything like that.
Fair enough. And so far, you've done two videos for this album, Proud Desperado, and It All Comes Back Around, which actually came out today. I'm sure there will be more, but I'd say these two are a great representation of what the album entails, right?
We've done 6 videos, and
Oh, wow.
so I think this one that came out today really represents the album very well. It's always hard when you're choosing which ones to make videos to, especially nowadays when there's not like a record company going, "Oh, this is the single. We're going to put a bunch of
Yeah.
money in it."
Yeah.
But uh, I think that the one that came out today is very representative of um, what the album is about, and it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the other videos come out. They're not finished yet. We have to edit them, so it'll be interesting to
Okay.
see how it all plays out.
Okay. Well, it's an interesting choice because it's a 7+ minute track. But honestly, it has one of the best solos that rap has ever done. I don't know if you agree, but
I
that
agree.
outro is insane. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I, he's doing what you can't teach. I mean, he's got this extra thing that is really amazing. It's amazing to witness in the studio.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Yeah. And I like how you use the talk box on It's Okay. I haven't heard a talk box in a rock song in a million years.
Yeah, since Bon Jovi. Yeah, that's the that's the last. You're the second person to mention that
Oh, yeah?
recently. That's a fun song. We were taking a stab at something funky like Down Incognito with that, and
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite songs on there. And lyrically, I love it. It's basically that life is an illusion, and even though you think you see something, it's not what the truth is.
Right, right. Well, my favorite is probably, I say, Stick the Knife In and Twist. To me,
Oh
it's one
wow,
of the heaviest ones you've done in a long
it
time.
is. It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Not sure. Are you planning to play that one live? But that would kick ass
probably.
if you did. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the verse is very White Snake on that,
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah.
um, which is different for us. And yeah, I really dig that song, the double solo and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a few moments on the album where your voice reaches some very high notes on Tears of Blood, for example, and Broken Glass, I think.
Yeah.
Those have to be tough to play live, no?
Tears of Blood would be almost impossible because there's no breath in the chorus.
Yeah. You're always on that high note all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
but you know that when I wrote it, I have a video of me writing that song actually. That the melody just came to me all at once. It was just all there. Just and and I say this all the time. The best art is by accident. You know, it all just happened out of the blue. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, the singing on some of it's terrifying to imagine doing live. But you know, I'll give it my best shot.
Yeah. Do you write your songs with that in mind? I mean, how am I going to pull this off? Or you just do it for the artistic purpose and whatever comes out live comes out?
I just do it artistic purpose. I mean, you know, it is what it is. If you're writing a song and you hear a melody, you can't change that melody just because you go, well, I can't do this live, you know.
Yeah.
You just do the best thing for the song. Otherwise, the songs don't, they sound contrived, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Yeah. And in parallel with Winger, I mean, that's got to be your main occupation right now, but you're a successful composer of classical pieces and musicals. You even got a Grammy nomination a few years back. So when you got nominated, did you feel a sense of vindication from all the criticism you got in the late 80s and early 90s, for example? Or
Yes,
yeah,
totally. Yeah. When I got that nomination, it was like, okay, well, I set the record straight. So
yeah.
nothing bothers me after that. That was a great honor and totally a surprise. I mean, and not an easy nomination to get in that category. Um, but I really was just doing it for the love of the music. I mean,
Mm.
um, I have another classical album coming out probably the end of next year with Nashville Symphony.
Oh,
My
okay. Mm.
They premiered my first symphony last March, and I'm doing a violin concerto for them now. So that'll be a album out on Naxos. But um, I just do it. I do it for the love of the music, man. I mean, that's really it. So that all came as a surprise, but yeah, that felt vindicating, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's quite the unusual combination. Someone with a hard rock background to explore classical music. I mean, the only other person I can think of is Stuart Copeland, maybe, who does classical pieces, right? How did that, how
There's a
did
few
you,
guys. There's a few guys. Steve Vai. I actually did an interview with Steve Vai that I'm going to put out
oh,
on my YouTube channel in
okay.
in three parts. Steve Vai is a very literate classical composer. Johnny Greenwood is another one.
Mm,
Um, there's a few of us that do it.
yeah. I'm curious, how did you develop that interest over time?
I always was drawn to the music, man. I studied classical guitar at 16 and was really got hooked on Baroque music. And then when I studied ballet, I heard, you know, Stravinsky and Rachmaninoff and Tchaikovsky and other stuff that was much more Debussy and Ravel,
Right.
stuff that was more, you know, complex and I was just so drawn to it. It really moved me. And I was just thinking, oh, you know, and then I never imagined that it was in my reach, you know,
Mm,
but I always wanted to do it. And then I finally, you know, at a very low point in my life, I thought, you know what, there's nothing left to do here except study music. So
right.
I just went ahead and you know, set my sights real high and just started to, learning it. I mean, I'm living proof that if you want to try something, you can definitely achieve it if you put in if you put in the time and effort.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
to so
yeah.
to all those young musicians out there, just keep pushing.
Well, that's great advice. I'm a beginner at guitar, and I always struggle with like, oh, I'm not progressing, or I'm not, not advancing as much as I should. But yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like, yeah, I mean, if you want to learn something, like technically speaking, if you want to be able to play, well, I had a music teacher that said, if you want to be able to play that passage, play it as slow as you can,
yeah,
and then play it half that fast, and start from there. But
yeah.
that's kind of how I approached my classical studies, is just go, take it one note at a time.
Right. I always wonder what the process is like to write a classical piece. I mean, how do you start when you have a blank page in front of you? What's the
Excellent question. I just took a lesson from one of my composition teachers, Richard Danielpour. I just had a lesson from him because I'm totally stuck on this piece. And he goes, well, he's like, well, try this. And I was like, wow, you make it look really easy. It's no different than a rock song. You come up with an idea. It could be a musical idea. In the case of a rock song, it could be a lyrical idea. But you just come up with an idea of some kind, and you just start. It's like a piece of stone. You just start chipping away at it and seeing
right,
what starts to form. And the biggest difference between rock music that I did and classical is short form to long form. So it's trying to break your mind free of short form music,
right.
so you can take a small idea and make it long form. Very difficult to do that.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And well, we're going back and forth a little bit with my questions here, but let me ask you about working with Alice Cooper. You joined his band on what would be his big comeback at the time, right?
I did, yeah. That was
Yeah.
very lucky for me. I played 4 songs on Constrictor album, and Kane Roberts was the one who suggested I mentioned to Alice to take me on the road if they go on the road, and they invited me to come there. I didn't do an audition or anything, and then Kane and I auditioned the rest of the band.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
that was like a master class in how to be a rock star,
I bet. Yeah.
from every level. I mean, yeah, from what clothes to wear to what to say in an interview to what case to buy for your equipment and what to tell the crew guys. I mean, really, just it was a great fun and an awesome experience, man. I owe
Right.
Alice Cooper a
Right.
lot.
Right. Were you in his band when Derek Sherinian was with him? Keyboard
No,
player?
no,
No.
no.
Okay. Fair enough.
Paul Taylor was in the band.
Okay. Okay.
So that's where I was like, "Hey, Paul, I know this great guitar player, and we're at Beach. I want to put a band together." So
Right.
That's why Paul is in Winger, because of Alice Cooper.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Yeah. And you toured with Winger with so many incredible acts. I mean, ZZ Top, the Scorpions, Bad Company, Kiss. Have you met all your heroes already? I mean, is there someone you'd like to meet still?
Paul McCartney, man.
Oh, you haven't met him.
Peter Gabriel. Those two guys. Yeah, they're super influential. I've pretty much met everybody else I'd like to meet.
Right.
I'm sure
Right.
there's someone. I'm sure there's someone. Well, there's a couple classical guys that I haven't met that I'd like to meet, but
Okay.
yeah, Paul McCartney, man.
Yeah. That would be a
Imagine,
great,
imagine, imagine what it would be like to be Paul McCartney. Like,
crazy, eh?
hey, I'm Paul McCartney. I influenced every musician on the.
Alive today,
I
right?
mean, that just must be so surreal, man.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I was talking to a guitar player from Toto, Steve Lukather, and he's now friends with Ringo, and from being his idols, he's now playing with them.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing for him, right? Yeah.
incredible. And Lukather's incredible.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
yeah. And back to Winger, I know there's a lot of tour dates being announced. You're doing a few headlining shows, touring with Tom Kiefer, also preparing for a tour with Steel Panther in the UK. So very, very busy schedule in the upcoming months, yeah?
Yeah, very busy. Yeah. A lot of headline shows. Steel Panther in May, Tom Kiefer in the summer, Australia in September, Japan, um, and tons of package stuff. We're doing a lot of stuff with. We've been playing a lot with Skid Row, Warren,
Mm,
and Lita Ford, and the shows are going well. I mean, the attendance is way up, man.
yeah. Yeah, there seems to be a resurgence in the interest in hard rock and metal these days. I don't know why, but that seems to be the case. I never left, but that seems to be the case recently for
Yeah,
whatever
I think,
reason.
because the music stood the test of time, man.
Yeah, yeah,
That's really why I think. Yeah,
yeah.
we see as many young people in the audience as the people that started out with us.
That's good to know. Yeah. And I don't know if you realize, but Seven is coming out in May, and the new Extreme album called Six will come out in June. So maybe you guys could do a tour together at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah. We've known them. They're great guys. We've known them forever, and
Yeah,
great musicians.
yeah. And this year's a 35th anniversary of the band's first album. Are you planning anything to celebrate the occasion or not really?
Yeah, we have a lot of new merch on the website. There's 35th anniversary T-shirts. There's 30th anniversary of Pull,
Okay.
and yeah. So there's some new merch on the website, and we might do some special shows where we're playing, like an album in its entirety or something like that.
Good stuff. Yeah, I would love it if you came to Toronto, where I live. The only time I saw you was in Rio in 2015 with Mr. Big.
Oh, that was fun. That was a great tour, actually.
Yeah, it was awesome show, by the way. Yeah, I loved it.
Thank you. That was a fun tour.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, speaking of
Brazilian
Brazil,
audiences
yeah,
are great, man.
yeah, yeah. There's definitely it's special kind of audience for sure in South America.
Definitely.
Yeah. Speaking of Brazil, I mean, soap operas are a big thing in there still, and Miles O'Reilly was used in one of them in 1991. Were you aware of this, or?
I heard that, and I heard about that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know the song is huge when we play it there. Everybody knows it. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, well, Paul did good on that. He wrote that song. Yeah.
he did. Yeah, yeah. Still to this day it's your biggest hit, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Depends on what country you're in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask you. My last question is about your friendship with Jordan Rudess. I know you played in one of his albums with Rod Morgenstein as well, right?
Yeah, well, he's a towering genius of keyboard. I mean, the guy's just one of the best musicians on the planet.
Yeah.
I met Jordan years and years ago when Rod had the the Rudess Morgenstein project,
Mm.
and yeah, I mean, we've been friends forever. He's really nice, beautiful dude, incredible musician, incredible musician. You
Yeah.
can't say enough about how great he is.
Yeah. Yeah. I've interviewed him a couple of times, and I keep waiting for you guys to collaborate again. But I don't know, maybe sometime in the future. Yeah.
I'd love to, man. I'd love to. Both of us are so busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Kip, thank you so much for the interview. All the best with the new album Seven. And again, I hope to see you here in Toronto at some point in time.
How did you end up in Toronto?
Well, Rio is a complicated place to live right now. It's it's great. The weather is great. When we go visit, it's awesome, but the violence is just skyrocketing. We left in 2017, so it's been 6 years now.
Wow, that's too bad because it's a great place. But
It is.
Canada's awesome too. I love Toronto.
Yeah, a bit too cold for my taste, but
I
here we
guess
are.
so, man.
Here we are.
That's funny. Well, all right. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
No worries, man. Thanks. Have a good one.
Have a
Cheers.
good one.
Bye.